All right, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in to what is our it's our kickoff event for the 4-Run 2 varsity program here at P3R. My name is Eric Burnett. I'm so proud and honored to be your host for this very exciting event for a lot of reasons. First and foremost, I got to say, I'm really pumped up and I have a little bit of like a fanboy situation going on right now because our first guest, what a way to get things rolling. We have Jordan Hasay here on with us, and it's incredible. Jordan, how are you doing? You're live right now. How's it going?
I'm doing so well, thanks. I'm so honored to be a part of this, and I'm very excited to meet all of our athletes and answer their questions.
I mean, it's so cool to have you here with us. I'm sure that all of the athletes who are here right now are just as equally stoked as I am. I mean, you're a legend, a living legend, not just in the track and field scene, but I'd say especially as a high schooler, just because I remember, I'm much older than you are, but I remember tuning in and watching you just on the national stage as a high schooler on, like primetime TV. And I'm just like, who is this girl with the crazy hair? Like she's so young and yet she's holding her own with all these big timers. And I just got to say, the accolades that I have on this list and the accolades that I know of you are just a mile long. But it's just incredible. It's such an honor to have you here with us, Jordan. So thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. And I heard all these athletes are the top of high school in their own right, so that's very exciting.
It is. I was reading their accolades as well, and we're gonna get to each and every one of them in a few moments here, and we're gonna introduce them, give them a proper introduction, and we'll go through those as we get there. So I'm excited as well to meet each one of them as them too. But before we really jump in, I'm gonna take a step back again. Like I said, fanboy. I was like, I gotta introduce Jordan. I do want to take a moment to tell everyone about what the 4-Run 2 varsity program is about. And folks, again, this is brand spanking new. It's really exciting stuff. And I'm sure everyone who's listening right now, for the most part, is familiar with our Kids of Steel program here in the city of Pittsburgh. P3R has created this incredible program that has come such a long way over the years and has influenced and really propelled so many young runners towards excellence, towards just confidence. And it's just been such a successful program. And this 4-Run 2 varsity program is an extension of that. It's here now to support and equip young runners through free fitness resources, just like Kids of Steel, opportunities at P3R events, and to support the local teams. But this is a program that's focused on middle schoolers and high schoolers. So it's that secondary school age group that is has graduated from Kids of Steel. And I'm really interested to see of all of our runners who are interviewing here tonight, how many of them actually did get involved with Kids of Steel growing up. So we're going to get to that. It's really exciting stuff. But with that being said, back to you, Jordan. Again, 18-time NCAA national champion. That is that even possible? Is it possible to be 18-time? You probably could be, but All American, which is incredible. You were 2-time national champion in the mile and the 3,000 meters at the University of Oregon. Go Ducks! And again, right now, let's just you're a marathon runner now, and you're the third fastest marathon runner in America. And how does that feel? Is that? Is there pressure there? There's got to be a lot of emotions with that title.
I've always just loved the sport, and I think that's why I was so dominant in high school because I just love being out there, love putting one foot in front of the other. So I've never felt an external pressure. I think everything kind of comes internally, and I just am grateful for everyone that's supported me since high school, and that's what has motivated me on to continue today. And I feel like high school, well, it was kind of a long time ago now, but at the same time it sort of feels like it was yesterday. So it's very special memories.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you say that, and I think that too. And I just remember back to the first time that I remember seeing you out there running. It does seem like yesterday, even seeing that. But you're right. It's like 13 years ago right now. Before that, I remember first seeing you in 2008, right around that time, and it's just it's just crazy to think that much time has passed. But you're, in my opinion, running better now than ever, and it's just really exciting to just continue to see you flourish and to see someone who starts being a superstar so young being able to continue to have success. And it's fun. You're easy to root for, I guess, is the point I'm trying to make. So
Thank you. Yeah, believe it or not, I'm going to be 30 this year, and I'm hoping that my best years in the marathon are ahead of me because usually the women start running well mid 30s. So, uh,
absolutely.
more years ahead, hopefully.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'm sure it'll happen. You've got a good head on your shoulders and you clearly have a lot of experience in the sport. And, uh, I know that in distance running, especially experience, longevity, it's priceless. And it really is something that can keep you from getting injuries. It can just keep your head set in the right place. And it really is worth it. So you've got that in spades for sure. So pretty
Thank
cool.
you.
Yeah. Well, I'm so tempted to ask you about a million questions, but I'm afraid that I'm going to take a question away from one of the questions that these great athletes have come up with to write to ask you. So I don't want to do that. I'm going to bite my tongue, and we're going to go ahead and let them do all the question asking, because this is their show. This is their program. It's all about our high schoolers, and as I mentioned before, we've got some great ones here with us this evening recording. So Jordan, are you ready? We're going to go ahead. We're going to bring in our first high schooler to ask some questions. Is that okay?
I'm ready.
Nice, nice. I am ready too. So without further ado, we've got Ginabola. That's right. Gina's here from Baldwin High School, Fighting Highlanders, represented here tonight. She is a senior headed to the NCAA Division One. She's going to stick around here in the city of Pittsburgh, which is awesome. I did the same thing. I ran at Pitt, but she's going to be right next door to where I was at Duquesne University. Gina, how's it going?
I'm good. Hi, Jordan. It's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Congrats on your college decision. That's awesome to stay close to home.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, I actually have my question for you right here. So, I am going to the Division One level. When you went to the University of Oregon, did it take time for you to adjust to high school running at the D1 level? And then what would your advice, like basically to me, be from going to high school to college level training?
Mm,
Yeah, that's a very good question. And I think that it definitely, you just need to be patient. And I'm sure you're going to have great coaches when you get to college. And just, I think that what helped me was just really having an open mind and listening to my coaches. So if they didn't want me to work out with the top woman right at first and do a little bit less mileage, I just had to keep that in mind that I was younger and I had several years of development ahead. So kind of in a way like checking your ego because you're obviously the top of high school right now and you want to be doing everything that the top women are doing. But once you get up there, just realize you need to give your body time to adjust and you don't want to go too crazy and up your mileage and get injuries and that sort of thing right away. So my advice is just be really patient, trust your coaches, and then just really enjoy your teammates because it's a whole new experience. And that's what I loved the first year was just getting to know my teammates and really try to compete well for the team.
mm. Yeah, I second all of that, Jordan. My teammates from Pitt are some of my best friends. We text almost daily in a thread nowadays, and it's just cherish those teammates for sure. And great advice as well is just you got time. I know things are super exciting whenever you get in there, and you just want to like run out of your shoes and go crazy. But like Jordan's saying, just listen to your gut, listen to your body, listen to your coach, and should help out for sure. Good question. Good one.
Yeah,
Good one right out of the gate. Yeah. All right. So what we're going to do, we were originally going to have Gina ask her second question, but we decided we're going to go around the horn. Everybody has two questions here. So we're going to move on next to, we actually have a duo in our next question group. Sisters from Pine Richland High School, the Rams, right? Or is it the Golden Rams? You guys, I'll introduce you. I just got to know, is it Golden Rams?
It's just the Rams.
Just the Rams. That's all right. We don't need the gold. We don't need the gold. We just got the beautiful
gold.
Rams. So we've got Angelina Hunkley and her sister Elizabeth. Angelina is a freshman. Elizabeth's a junior. Most recently, they both competed at the Adidas Indoor Nationals. Hello, in both the mile and 2 mile events. So some serious distance runners here with us this evening. Angelina and Elizabeth, thank you so much for being here with us.
Yes, thank you. Hi,
Yeah.
Jordan. We're big
Hi.
fans of you. So nice to meet you.
Yeah, thanks for being here. How'd the indoors go?
It went well. Oh, yeah, it was
Yeah.
really fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just
Where
good
were
to
they
be.
held? Where were they held this year? Sorry.
It was in Virginia Beach.
Cool.
Okay, I'll go ahead and ask my question. So it's like two parts, but what types of cross training do you do and how much do you think it benefits you? I do a lot of cross training because I'm also a triathlete in addition to a cross country and track runner. And also, do you think it helps prevent injuries?
Ooh, really good question. Wow, so you're also a triathlete. You just do it all. That's incredible. Okay, I did a few triathlons when I was in high school, but I'm awful at the bike. Um, I mainly I'm pretty good at swimming. That was actually my first sport. My mom was a swimmer, so I grew up swimming, and actually the track coach had to write me a letter that said I need to go to track practice instead of swim practice because I like swimming more at first. So I actually still to this day I'll swim 20, 30 minutes every day, or at least on my easy days. I just think it really helps to flush out my legs. And I in high school, same thing. I would swim as my second training. Actually, kept my miles pretty low and did a lot of swimming. And I think that yeah, just because especially I think that helped with my aerobic development when I was at that age and has benefited to this day. And then to your point, in terms of injury prevention, it's huge because you do get that sort of like flush out the legs, like I said, you're not doing the pounding, but you still get the cardiovascular benefit. So that's definitely helping you in the long term. So well done. Yeah, keep that up. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, great question. I'm going to try and add just little nuggets here. Obviously, I have just a very small percentage of experience from what Jordan has, but I cross train for me. I was a professional triathlete for about 4 years out in California, and so I've been there, Elizabeth, and I know how it goes. And I used to get injured all the time whenever I was just running as a track athlete. That's because I wasn't putting cross training in, and I was very injury prone. But once I started doing triathlon and I started in, obviously cross training by nature, it just I came together, and throughout my whole career in triathlon, I only got injured once. So I'd say stick with it, especially if it's working for you. Everyone's different, but I think it could always help for sure.
Yeah,
Very
thank
cool. Yeah. So, and Angelina, I realize you both have questions. So Angelina, do you want to throw a question to Jordan as well?
Yeah, sure. So, one of my questions was, do you have any pre-race traditions that you like to do, like before your races, for example, like lucky socks or something like that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Actually, ever since high school and this, when I raced a lot in college, actually, this became a little bit of an expensive habit, but I always have to have a new pair of socks for every race. It's kind of weird, but I really like to have fresh socks. Actually, if I could, like, fun fact, if I could just like throw away socks and have a fresh pair of socks for everyone run, I would do that. They just feel so good. So now that I race the marathon, I'm racing less. It's like definitely nice to just have a new pair. But that was kind of my superstition, just to have like at least a fresh pair, or sometimes like I would do one pair for one season. So like 5 or 6 races. If the first couple of races went really well, then I would stick with that pair. So I liked the socks. And then also just when I was in high school, one of the rituals was to just go to dinner with the team, and we would do a spaghetti dinner. So that was really special. And we would watch Rudy usually if we had a bus ride. So we would often kind of race a few hours away, and we liked watching that movie. So that was our go-to.
Yeah, thank you.
That's so cool. I love that. I know the feeling. The new socks. There's something about them. It's just like clouds.
Yeah.
You know, it's awesome. Cool. Thank you, Angelina. Thank you so much, and Elizabeth as well for those questions. We're going to jump right now to our next representative. This one, a runner. She's a junior at Mechanicsburg High School. Just set a PR in the 3,200 meter run this week at 11 minutes and 10 seconds. That's incredible. Her name is Hope McKenney. Hope, congratulations on the PR, and thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really nice to talk to you. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah,
That's amazing. Congrats on your PR. How much of a PR was it?
6 seconds.
Dang, that's awesome.
Thank you. My first question is, what advice do you have for runners deciding on what college to continue their running career at?
Ooh, yeah, that's a really good question. I think that, well, with COVID and everything, I know it's been hard to visit the schools, but I think that's opening up more. But my advice would definitely be to try to visit and get a feel for the campus and the team and the coach. But also, I think a lot of runners kind of maybe forget this, is that you want to make sure that you enjoy the school if you were injured or if you weren't a runner. So try to kind of take yourself out of that situation. I know we all want to be optimistic and hope that we'll never have injuries and we'll really connect with the team. But some of my best friends from college actually ended up just being in the business school from my business major, and that was a factor in deciding what I wanted to study and how the school was for business. So I think just kind of looking at it from that angle too can be really helpful, because that will lead to your overall happiness, and the happier you are, the faster you'll run, is what I have experienced. So that's my advice, is to look at it from all angles.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, really good question, Hope, for sure. And a great point, Jordan. It's like all things in life. If you're not happy, you're not going to excel. So you got to really factor all those things in, for sure. All right, next up, folks, we're going to be heading to another power duo here. This duo from Upper St. Clair, which are the Panthers, I believe, right? Yeah, nice. Fellow Panthers, Pitt Panthers, Upper St. Clair Panthers. Awesome. So right now it's my pleasure to introduce both juniors, teammates. It's Mia Skeel and Jacqueline Martinelli. Mia just set a PR as well in the 1,600 meter run at the Tri-States Invitational, and Jacqueline locked up a spot on the school's 4x800 meter relay team despite being a new runner herself. That's pretty impressive. Congratulations, you guys.
Congrats.
Here, let's get you unmuted real quick. We can do this. Unless you, let's see.
Okay, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, got it, Ryan.
I was trying to find the unmute button.
I know, right? It's.
I think Jacqueline is still
no matter
mute.
how much we're in it, we still can't find like the mute.
There. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So real quick, just because we asked Hope, Mia, how it was Mia that did Mia. What was your PR in the 1,600, and how much of a jump did you make?
So this is actually my first track season. I've only been running for about like a year and a half now. Yeah. So I'm relatively new to the sport, but I'm loving it. And my PR was 5:48. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, you're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
For a new
not bad.
Yeah. Cool. And Jacqueline, that's awesome that you're on the 4x8. That was my favorite event of all time. I was a mid-distance runner in college and in high school. So but relays, and I think Jordan, you're talking about teammates, and there's just nothing better than getting on a relay team, just going out there and accomplishing something like that. So congrats.
Thank you.
Mia, I don't know, do you want to start out with a question for Jordan?
Yeah, I can start.
Cool.
So my first question is, how do you overcome and look past any bad races?
Oh, very good question. Well, I think that it's important to recognize the reality of it. So it's okay to be disappointed, because we're human, but just allowing yourself to not dwell on it too much, and maybe give yourself, I always kind of gave myself the bus ride. And then once I got home, I tried to just enjoy dinner with my teammates or my family and just kind of look towards the future, and always just kind of have that positive attitude. And I think there's no such thing as failure. I always like the saying, failure is just feedback. So then kind of looking at the race and seeing what you can learn from it. And I've gotten to the point in high school, it was really hard for me not to set PRs and I would get upset when I would lose races. But now I've gotten to the point where I actually, if I make mistakes or I have bad races, I actually kind of like it because it's just feedback and it gives me something to challenge myself and to work on, especially if it's kind of an early season meet. So I almost am glad I made those mistakes early on so that the bigger races I can adjust and learn from it. So just seeing it, I know it takes time. And like I said, it's okay to be frustrated and feel those feelings, but the sooner that you can identify what you can improve upon and see it as all a learning opportunity, then you can just become better.
That's an awesome answer, and that's a great question too. And kind of getting back to what I was saying earlier, Jordan, is your longevity in the sport just is really what makes you one of the key factors that makes you as good as you are, is because you have so many opportunities to learn those lessons. So
yeah, thanks. It's just like no loss in enthusiasm. Win or lose, you just either kind of take feedback from what you did well or just what you didn't do so well and improve upon it.
Yeah, that's cool. It's the way to look at it for sure. Not always the easiest thing to do, but
yeah, it takes time for sure. Like I said, in high school, I wasn't the best at it.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think most of us aren't, for sure. All right, Jacqueline, how about you? What question do you have for Jordan?
Okay, so recently I've been getting shin splints or potential stress fractures in my right leg, and I was just wondering, what is your biggest tip in avoiding injury?
Ooh, yeah, good question. Sorry about that too. Even at my age, I still get some shin splints sometimes, but I feel like that's kind of a lot of times in high school you get them. I got them really bad and it just felt like it was going to last forever. So first thing is that it will get better. So don't fret. And I think maybe, yeah, just like number one thing with injuries is really listening to your body is what I've learned. So I've made the mistake of trying to push through injuries and made them worse. So first thing, listen to your body, listen to your coaches. Don't try to push through. It will get better if you listen to your body, and it will get better quicker if you do that as well. And then just, I think, trying to implement a good strengthening program, and then also like having someone kind of watch your form. So for yours, like shin splints can be, you might be overstriding a little bit. So like having someone watch that, and then strengthening that area, strengthening your calf, strengthening your foot. So just being aware of that and kind of trying to make those adjustments so that you can take the tension off those muscles there. And that's the same thing with any injury, just like looking at what might be off. Because again, like if you do try to push through injuries, what can happen is you get these other compensation injuries, which also isn't good. So just looking at your body as a whole, looking at your form and seeing how to strengthen those areas is my advice. And yeah, good question.
Yeah, these were all great questions. You all have done your homework, come prepared. This is beautiful. We're about to go through the group again. So we're going to bounce right back now to Gina, again from Baldwin High School. Gina, do you have your second question ready for Jordan?
I do. So my second question is, have you ever faced possible running burnout or any mental blocks? And if you have, how have you gotten through them?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So in 2016, actually, I raced in the 10,000 and 5,000 at the Olympic trials and just didn't do really well. I didn't make the Olympic team. And afterwards, I almost wanted to quit the sport. Actually, I thought maybe I should put my business degree to use. But I just knew deep down that I just wanted to continue to explore my gift and my talent. And so I ended up switching over to marathon and focusing on the road, and then running the third fastest marathon time ever. So I was glad that I didn't quit the sport. So
it's a good choice. It's a good choice.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Sometimes like when you do have those setbacks, it can be tempting to just say, oh, I want to be done, I want to quit. But sometimes just making a change. Like I just needed to have something different and switch to the road. So I think searching out maybe a different in high school, like a different event, or maybe switching your focus to the relay for a time or something like that. Just trying to still, because obviously, like when you look at it at the end of the day, you still kind of love it. So sometimes just having something else to shift your attention to can be helpful.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to distract yourself a little bit. I've ran into brick walls as well when doing triathlon. Even swimming just really wasn't my strength, and so I needed something to take my mind off of how I was lacking there for a while. So I would shift to duathlon for a little while, and I would just focus on running and biking, and then I came back a little bit more ready to rock and roll than before. So, like you said, Jordan, before, keeping things positive, keeping things fun, keeping that passion there is half of the battle, if not more, for running. And so, not feeling stuck anywhere. Just don't be afraid to make some changes. I think is an important thing for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, we're gonna head back right now to the Hunkley sisters from Pine Richland. Start out once again. This time, Angelina. How about you asking a question for Jordan?
Okay, so my next question is, how do you cope with nerves before your races?
Ooh, good question. Really good question. So actually, this is similar to the kind of dealing with adversity situation. I've gotten a lot better with it throughout the years. And now I'm almost at the point where if I don't get nervous and a little bit anxious before a race, I think what's wrong with me. I might not be ready. So I've kind of learned actually to embrace those feelings and see it as a positive, because it means that your body's really ready to go. And then just kind of accepting them and using that as adrenaline and fuel. And it's okay to be a little bit nervous, just knowing that everyone feels the same. And nervous actually kind of means that you're prepared, because you almost have I don't like to say something to lose, but because I always like to kind of be on the offense, so to speak, but something to show. So I always like to say that like a race is kind of manifesting your gift, showing all the hard work that you've put in. So yeah, of course you're going to be a little bit nervous to show that to the world, but then you just got to kind of trust in your training, trust in your preparation, know that you should just focus on things that you can control. So the weather, what anyone else is going to do, those sorts of things, you can't really control that. So it's no use in focusing on that. Just focus on yourself and your attitude and your training, and those things you can really control. So then that can help kind of calm anxiety. And just I like to do my warm up and have the same warm up every time. So that kind of gets me, again, something I can control, gets me in the rhythm, gets me in the zone. And then you always know once the gun goes off, everyone probably feels this way, that you feel a lot better. So just getting to that start line as calm as you can, and trusting and having faith, and then just having fun with it.
Yeah, it's that I love what you said there at the very end, Jordan, because I remember most of all, it was like, just let the race start. Just
Yeah.
like, get me there. It's almost more painful. I mean, obviously you're going through tons of pain in the race, and it's if you're bottle it up, there's more pain there, but it's just the stress leading up to it. It's like, so sometimes I'm like, man, the lead up is worse than the race.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, totally. Great question, Angelina. Great stuff. And Elizabeth, how about you? Do you have another question for Jordan?
Yes, I do. This is another multi-part question. But when you were a student athlete, how did you manage your time with running in school? What were the most challenging parts, and do you have any tips? And also, how do you manage your pro life with your personal life?
Oh, that's a really good question. Yeah, just so in terms of both, it's just really all about time management. And I think that a lot of people like to say, oh, how do you do it? You're so busy. But I don't really like the word busy. I think it's kind of like choices. So yeah, I am busy, but I choose what I want to be busy with. So just making those things priorities. And so I really liked when I was in high school, my planner. So I really tried to plan things out and manage things so that I could get things done. And then I had time to still hang out with my friends and focus on track afterwards, after school. And so sometimes it meant doing a lot of studying when we were on the bus, or maybe getting a chapter read during lunch if I could squeeze it in, or things like that. So you definitely have to just be conscientious about it. And kind of same thing now that I'm a professional. I think that I've just make those choices and just try to make time for everything, because again, if you're happy, you're gonna run better. So making sure that I schedule my training, but then I also make sure I schedule those downtimes and making sure that I'm connecting with my family and friends. So just making everything that you see, and the main advice is that you do. A lot of people think that you don't have time for it all, but you can. I think that you can look at it all and really make things work, as long as you manage your time efficiently.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to be efficient, you've got to be disciplined. And that goes with all things running in general, but if you want to make it a career for sure, and you want to still have a life, you just have to be disciplined about it for sure. Not that running isn't a life, but you know what I mean by that, the quote unquote life. So yeah, good question. Again, from the Pine Richland duo. Thank you so much. Next up, let's head back to Mechanicsburg, the Wildcats. Hope, what's your next question for Jordan?
I'm sure you've run many workouts throughout your time as a runner, and I was wondering which workouts you thought were the most beneficial.
Ooh, very good question. Well, first off, I think every workout's beneficial. So it's more about consistency. So you don't have to worry about knocking out of the park every single workout, but it's just like kind of being consistent, everyone. And you might not see progress right away, but just that string of workouts over time is really going to lead you to improvements in PRs. But I also think that sometimes the workouts that we like the least are the ones that are really good for us. So like for me, in high school, I struggled a lot actually with the longer reps. So I would always not do very well at 800-meter reps. So we broke them in pretty slowly. And I really liked doing more of the 400s or 200s, but I knew that 800s were really good for me. So that was a day when I just really had to focus, and I knew it was going to hurt, but then I knew it was going to make me better. So I'd try to visualize just competitors that I wanted to be, or times that I wanted to get, sort of motivational things to get me through those workouts. And then when you do get through those workouts, it's really a confidence booster for your races, because you can think, okay, I felt this pain when I was doing X workout that I didn't like doing. So just know that it's going to make you that much stronger for the race.
Totally.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah, definitely another good question, Hope, for sure. Thank you. All right, next up, we're going to head back to our girls from Upper St. Clair. I believe Mia. Mia, do you have another question for Jordan?
Yeah. So is there anything in particular that you say to yourself, like a saying or a mantra during a race to keep you going?
Ooh, another really good question. So for me, yeah, definitely. And it kind of changes from season to season. So it will depend on kind of what I went throughout my buildup. Right now, especially kind of for the marathon, a lot goes into the buildup, because it's this huge, you're not racing too much. So you're putting in a lot of training and getting through these long workouts in order to prepare for race day. So, one of my sayings, and they can be kind of sometimes just silly or simple, but I was coming back from injury my last marathon buildup, and the simple thing I just kept saying to myself was, you're really good at running, because in my first few workouts, I was like really struggling. I wasn't hitting my paces at all. So I just kept saying like, you're really good at this, you got this. And even in the race, once I had some really good workouts, I kept saying that to myself, you're really good at this. So anything to kind of, I think it's important to just have something that's like really positive, kind of simple, but also like that can trigger your mind back to some of those really good workouts that you had. And then also kind of speaking of you guys, like thinking about your teammates really helps too. So it might be something funny that like one of my teammates had said, like, believing in yourself, or like at one time we had a phrase on our team that was like carpe diem, so like seize the day. So I kept saying that. So things like that can just give me a positive mental state when I'm struggling and hurting, and helps me to think about those people that supported me throughout the journey.
Very cool. All right. Well, we do have, I think, a couple of you that had a third question. So, and I do think we have a little bit more time here. So I'm going to go ahead and hop back to those. But I wanted to throw one question in here. Again, 2008. I don't even know if any of these girls here were born at that point, but I think I'm totally joking. But so when you were in that 1500 meter final at the Olympic trials, in Oregon, what was going through your mind whenever you got there? Was it just another race to you? Was it, you got into that zone, but you're a junior in high school, and what was the mentality? How did you keep focused?
Yeah, that's a good question. It was 13 years ago, so you guys were just not even in school, probably barely born. But yeah, I just remember again, just really having fun with it, because there was no pressure on me. So I was more intrigued in watching the other professional athletes do their warm up than I was doing my own warm up. So just kind of like being in the moment, and that to this day, that really helps me, just watching the other athletes and just enjoying it, enjoying the check-in process, saying hi to the people that check me in, and looking at my family when I was on the start line and doing a stride and having everyone cheer for me, and recognizing people from my hometown, things like that. And again, I think actually if you watch the broadcast, they're saying, oh, she was wringing her hands on the start line, and then once the gun went off. So again, just like I was looking forward to that gun going off. And I didn't realize I was doing that, but apparently I was kind of nervous, but just wanting to, but again, just doing my best. And that's still to this day, when I have a really hard workout, I think about that last 100. And that was probably like the most I've ever felt pain in my legs. I was super tired, but just like, the adrenaline really got me through. So just really enjoying the moment. And that's when the crowd can really come to play and elevate your performance.
Absolutely. I mean, it was an iconic race. I mean, it just sort of stood out in my mind. I'll never forget seeing you there. And again, just being like, who is this? This is insane. High schooler. Yeah, so cool. Awesome. And thanks for giving us that insight, because it's an even more special moment now for sure. Okay, next up, I saw a couple extra questions here, and we definitely want to get to them because we've got the time. So, Angelina, I saw that you had a third question. You feel like asking it now?
Sure. So, what is a race that you will never forget, and what made it so special?
And I might have, I might have stolen this answer to this question. I don't know if I did, but we'll see. Hopefully I didn't. I'm sorry if I did.
No, that's a good race. But I can also talk about my junior year of high school, I had won the 3,200 meters my freshman and sophomore year. And my junior year, there was another girl named Lorraine Chedelet, and her and I had kept running, we kept running the best time in the nation. And then, so I would run it 1 week, she would beat my time by a few seconds, and then I would beat her time. So I think I'd maybe run just under 10 minutes And then she ran like a 9:50, maybe 55, just a few seconds faster than me going to state. So everyone's like, oh, well, Hasay might not win her third straight title. And what I liked to do in high school was take it from the gun, but we kind of knew, like my coach came up with a strategy that I was not allowed to lead a step until the second mile. And so the gun goes off, and of course, what do? I go right to the lead, and I'm leading for the first 400, and then I see my coach, and he's yelling at me, and he's like, get behind her. So I got behind her, and it was like the first time I didn't lead a race, so that I had to be really brave. And then we came through the mile like pretty slow, and that ended up being the plan because I knew I was a little bit better than her in the 1600, so we wanted it to turn into more of a kick. And so I think we came through in about 5:04. And then I was just so excited to finally take the lead. So I jumped to the lead. And then she actually sat on me all the way till, like, literally it was a dive at the finish line. But I was like so confident in our strategy because I knew we had gone slow enough that I could have a really fast last lap. And we actually, I think our second mile ended up being like 4:48, which would have won the open 1600 for the whole meet. And we both ran under the old high school record, 9:52. And so I learned a lot of lessons in that race, and it was just like very memorable, just race strategy, which I never really had because I would just go from the gun, and then just like being really confident in my kick, and also learning that like competition can really propel you. So she was really excited at the end too, because we both ran really fast. And whenever people talk about that race, it's not just that I won, they talk about how well we both did. So yeah, to this day, it's like you can still maybe not win the race, but just both push each other so hard. And those are the performances that are ultimately are like pretty cool and going to be remembered.
Really cool. Do you? I got a question, and this is a long shot, but do you still stay in touch with that athlete, with the girl you raced against?
Yeah, I actually think she might have like 1 or 2 kids now. So she ran for a little bit, but yeah, and yeah, like to your point of teammates and things, like you end up being friends with the athletes for life. And we actually did a for Foot Locker cross country, we did like a because it got canceled this year because of COVID, we had a like a former champions thing with Ashley Brasman and Kathy Kroger, and Kathy has a baby now, and then like Ashley's doing ultras. So it was cool just to like catch up with everyone now. And so just, yeah, the people that you guys meet right now, you'll continue to see them throughout your lives in some capacity.
Yeah, and not just your teammates, but your rivals. Clearly,
Yeah,
it's cool because it really is. You're in I say fraternity, but I'm the only guy here right now, so maybe I should say sorority of runners. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. I had this really cool experience in college where I was going on spring break, but I was continuing to train. And on my way down to Florida to get down there, I stopped at the University of Alabama and just did a workout there with my track friends that I went with. And we didn't call ahead or anything, but the track team was there, and we asked if we could train on the track with them, and they're like, yeah, of course. And then they went so far as afterwards to say, here's the code to our locker room, go ahead in there and you can shower up afterwards. It was just great. And then like we met them out later on that night, and these guys that we had never met before in our lives, but because we were in that fraternity, that sorority of track and field runners, we were like best friends with them. There was like an Xbox and a big screen TV in their training room, which don't expect to be in every single training room. We definitely didn't have that at Pitt, but but it's just like they didn't know us from Adam, and they're like, here, you can just go in here while we're not watching, and just we trust you to shower up and not take our Xbox. It was just pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, to your point, the running community are just so kind and supportive, and just kind of pointing to this race, I've actually never had the opportunity to race in Pittsburgh, so I was really hoping to finally race there, but I feel like I was just part of the family because when I did fly there for a night, the team were just so gracious and so supportive, and now pretty much like lifelong friends. And it was just, yeah, like it gives me goosebumps to think how incredible the running community is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we have one more question, but I'm going to say right now, I'm holding you two coming back. You've got to get back to Pittsburgh. We want to see you hitting the streets here. It's an incredible marathon. I don't know how. One more question I'm going to throw in here, but how are you on hills? Do you like hills?
I love hills.
Then you
Yeah,
got to
like
come to
I had
Pittsburgh.
already. So before it got canceled, I had already like memorized the course map. Ryan had
Yes.
sent it to me, and so I'm ready to tackle and go for a really fast time, tackle that record. And where I train in California has a lot of hills, so I've definitely that's my best marathons is in Boston when it's hilly. So
Yep.
I'm excited for the hills.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we're all pumped too. I MC the start line and the finish line, so I'll be super pumped to see you crossing the line, to see you heading out the gun, and it's
Awesome.
yeah, it's gonna be really exciting. So can't wait for that for sure. Right now we're gonna head back to Hope. She's got one more question. So Hope, go ahead with your question.
What advice do you have for a long distance runner to develop speed in shorter track events such as the 800?
Ooh, really good question, and kind of pertinent to me right now. I am training with some 1500-meter runners and 800-meter runners right now, and I'm really having to get out of my comfort zone and try to chase them along. So I think in high school, kind of like finding teammates that are faster. So my coach actually used to have me do some workouts with the 4x1 team just to kind of get my speed under me. And also what he would have me do is to actually race those events. So when I would go to like CIF and the qualifying meets, he would make me run the 800, which I hated because it wasn't my best, and there were other girls that were like super competitive in it and would push me. But I think that really helped my legs, because then when I went to run the 2 mile, it felt so much slower. So just trying to run events that challenge you, and that is kind of a fun way to do it too, is just to race your way into the speed.
Thank you so much.
Great question.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah, good stuff. And everybody tonight, that's pretty much all the questions that I had on there, unless anyone else has any additional ones. I know we have a few extra questions or extra moments here. Anybody? Okay. Well, I just wanted to say, everybody here tonight, Mia, Jacqueline, Gina, Elizabeth, Angelina, Hope, thank you so much. So many great questions here for Jordan. I do want to take a second really quickly. If you just want to unmute real quick and just say thank you, say bye. You can hang out on the podcast, but go ahead, just we can thank Jordan real quick for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much. It was a really cool opportunity to talk with you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone. I'm just so excited for all of you, and sounds like you're all in good places and the PRs are coming. So just keep it up. I'm going to be following now.
Nice. You hear that? I mean, that's pretty awesome. You've got like an all-time great following you all. And I mean, this is a pretty exciting time, right? I'm not 100% still in it, but I know whenever I was running in the WPIAL, I was pretty sure WPIAL championship came 2 weeks after Tri-State. So is that still the case? Or are WPIALs not this week, but next week? No. Is it totally different sound? No, I'm sorry. That was cross country. Cross country Tri-States was like a week before WPIALs. You guys are at like the beginning of the season. So you're I'm just out of my mind. It's been that long. So anyways, have an incredible season, everybody. And when WPIALs do roll around, which Jordan, WPIALs is what we call like our district championships here.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah.
We're really strange here. Everybody else in the state of Pennsylvania calls their district championships districts, but for whatever reason, we're the Western Pennsylvania Inter-Athletic League or something like that. And instead of calling ours District 7, we call it WPIAL, which is really odd, but that's
okay.
Because we think we're the best, I guess, something like that, you know. But,
well, all these ladies are the best, so I'm sure they're going to be great there.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely be following along with all of you, and and best of luck in the whole season. We hope that you stay injury free, that you stay positive, that you make those great memories with your teammates, that you break down those barriers and just have a great time. And hopefully, you know, these amazing nuggets, these amazing pearls of wisdom that Jordan has just extended can stick with you. Again, this is being recorded, so I don't worry if you didn't take notes. You can listen back to this really at any time once it gets posted. And so hopefully that this will be something that you can draw back on and draw upon throughout your season to give you inspiration, because it really was great, and it was so great because of every single one of you being here tonight. So thank you so much. Folks, once again, we're going to take a moment here. I just want to remind everyone about the 4-Run-2 varsity program. Such a great program, and we're so happy that it kicked off in this style with all these great local athletes, with this incredible professional athlete, Jordan, who, by the way, I think your dad is from Pennsylvania. Is that correct? I read that.
Oh, he is. Yeah. He's from Chickasha.
Okay. Say that one more time.
Did I say it wrong?
No, I think you got it right. I actually didn't even hear about it. But what's the name of it? Pennsylvania has the weirdest town names in the world. What
Chickasha.
Chickasha.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I've been living here all my life, and I don't even know about a place in our state called Chickasha.
Okay.
So,
yep.
Yeah. So,
he was. I've been there, and it's a cool place.
Yeah, Pennsylvania is pretty neat. So, well, I've been out to SLO before, so we've both been kind of in the same area. So,
sweet.
Yeah. I used to DJ in California. We did SLO High School's prom a few times. So,
oh, cool.
yeah, pretty neat stuff. So, but yeah, again, everybody, thank you so much. This is awesome. And I just got a note from our producer that we nailed it. It's Chickasha, coal country. That's where the coal comes from. So, very cool stuff. Everybody, please, best of luck with the 4-Run-2 varsity program. Thank you so much. I don't think we could have picked a better way to kick things off. And for everyone who's listening out there, thank you for tuning in. And again, we hope that you can draw upon all of this great information, all these great pointers and wisdom to excel in your seasons as well. Because in the end, we're all in this together as athletes, as runners. It is that fraternity, that sorority, and we just want to make each other better and to have fun doing it together as a team. So again, on behalf of P3R and Fireside Events, my name is Eric Burnett. Jordan, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you, Eric. That was fantastic, and hope to see you in Pittsburgh.
Yes, cannot wait. We're going to be counting down the days. I mean, we were counting down the days until Marathon 2022, but we're going to be doing it even more because we are hoping that you'll be there with us as well.
For sure.
Cool. Thanks. For all of our listeners out there, thank you so much. Our viewers as well. Until next time, have fun and keep moving.